everyone, welcome to a new series on the channel, Influential Locomotives in North America. In this series, I will be discussing different locomotives and impacted railroads they served in a good way. I'm so excited to start this new series, so without further ado, let's discuss our first locomotive, the AMD F40PH. On May 1st, 1971, the National Railroad Corporation of America, better known as Amtrak, took over the failing passenger trains from the private railroad segments operating. Amtrak inherited passenger railroads, which were becoming outdated. Amtrak sought a replacement for these old locomotives, and in 1973, AMD introduced the SDP-40F specifically for Amtrak's needs. They would end up ordering 150 examples of the SDP-40F, the first of which entered service in 1973. However, Amtrak soon found out these locomotives were problematic due to their design. The SDP-40Fs had an uneven weight distribution, a six-axle truck design, and combined with the traffic conditions at the time, on the railroads at the time, these three factors led to a handful of derailments. In response to these derailments, various railroads banned Amtrak operating the SDP-40F on their tracks as rail breakers. Soon after these problems arose, Amtrak sought a replacement locomotive. In 1975, General Electric introduced the P30CH, which was Amtrak's first new locomotive to be equipped with head and power, or HEP for short. Amtrak would go on to order 25 of these locomotives, the first of which entered service later that year. Unfortunately, these units also gave Amtrak problems. These units had a flawed six-axle truck design, like the trucks featured on the E60, another GE product. Amtrak soon found itself needing new short/medium distance power. In May of 1975, Amtrak would place an order for 30 F40PH locomotives, placing them on diesel-hauled short-distance services. Amtrak was pleased with the performance of the F40PH that they eventually ordered a total of 210 F40PHs. This included 132 F40PHRs, which used parts from failed SDP-40Fs, which Amtrak traded into EMD. In 1985, EMD introduced the F40PH-2. This unit had an upgraded prime mover which output 3,200 horsepower. Many F40PHs were matched to this output. A total of 509 F40PH locomotives were used in the US and Canada. By the time production ended in 1998, this figure included units by Mortson Knudsen and Motive Power Industries. The EMD F40PH was based off the popular freight locomotive, the GP40-2, and shares various parts with these locomotives. The F40 is equipped with HEP for lighting, heating, and air conditioning. The original F40PH powered the HEP using the prime mover. This caused the prime mover to run at a constant speed of 893 RPMs, dubbing these units as screamers. Several railroads ordered variants with separate HEP generators. Other railroads chose to rebuild their locomotives in a similar fashion. Numerous F40PH locomotives came equipped with the Nathan K5LA. Other railroads chose to order the locomotives with identical or similar horns. locomotives come out at a length of 56 feet 2 inches, a width of 10 feet 7 inches, a height of 15 feet 7.5 inches. They came in a weight of 260,000 pounds, and the first 30 F40PHs came with a 1,500 gallon fuel tank, but later locomotives came equipped with a 1,800 gallon fuel tank. The locomotive comes equipped with a 16-cylinder 645 E3 prime mover. Early units produced 3,000 horsepower, but later units were bumped up to 3,200 horsepower. The units rode on Bloomberg M trucks. Most F40PHs can travel a speed of 103 miles an hour, but some were geared to go as fast as 110 miles an hour. The designation F40PH stood for the following: F for the full-width cowl car body, 40 for the locomotive as it's a part of EMD's 40 series, based on the GP40-2 freight locomotive, P for passenger, and H for head-end power. Throughout its life, there have been several variants of the F40PH. In some instances, the F40PHs have been built by Mortson Newson and Motive Power Incorporated. Often, these units use parts manufactured by EMD. One notable variant of the F40 is the F40PH-2D, ordered by VRL of Canada and built by GMD in London, Ontario, Canada. These units were specifically built for use in Canada, and they feature a handful of features not found in other F40 units. Interestingly, VRL 6403 is known for its use on the back of the Canadian $10 bill. Other variants include the F40PH-2C and the F40PH-2C, used by the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, or MBTA for short. The F40PH-2, used by Metra, features a cab like the EMD F69 PHEC, and the F40PH-2M was built for the road maintenance company Spenal. These units are very unique because they use a completely flat cab and nose and are used in freight services. Throughout their careers on the railroad, F40PHs have appeared in several TV shows and movies, including The Simpsons, King of the Hill, Are We There Yet?, and Chosen and Disaster on the Coastliner. Amtrak and a handful used their F40PHs in TV advertisements. Here are a few examples.
Next time you're planning to fly somewhere, consider going with a carrier who has spent the last 7.5 years rebuilding its entire fleet. A fleet that now offers you some of the newest, most technologically advanced equipment in the world. Not surprisingly, it's also among the most comfortable. Next time, see what a thrill it is to fly on a train.
All aboard, all aboard, all aboard Amtrak. There's something about a train. There's something about a train that's magic.
Amtrak's new $7 return fare means you can see more of America for less. Buy a one-way ticket for over $50, and we'll give you a round-trip ticket for just $7 more.
All aboard America, all aboard Amtrak.
It's going to be late. Roads are wet and slippery. Traffic stop and go. The county is 90 minutes from O'Hare, 60 minutes from the junction. Stevenson, an 80-minute trip from the Tri-State, 55 minutes from Harlem. And Ryan from 90
They say that adversity is the real test of character. If so, you'll be interested to know that Metra's incredible on-time performance continues right through the trials and tribulations of winter.
You're on Metro, the way to really fly.
The units also make appearances in several related DVDs and VHS tapes. The Locomotive has also appeared in countless video games, mostly in train simulators, and during the mid-2000s, the F40PH became a meme on the internet. Beginning in the early 1990s, Amtrak chose to retire their F40PHs as they were reaching 20 years old and were becoming outdated. Prior to this, Trains magazine reported the average F40PH traveled 175,000 miles per year. Amtrak replaced them with the P40DC and P42DC. Until the early 2000s, the F40PH ran alongside the replacements. In the summer of 2002, after 26 years of revenue service, the final non-rebuilt F40PH was retired. 22 F40PH units were turned into non-power control units, or NPCUs for short. Modifications to these units including removing the prime mover and traction motors, adding a roll-up baggage door to the side of the locomotive. With the addition of these baggage doors, Amtrak's fleet of NPCUs have given name Cabbage, a mix between the words cab and baggage. These units had the prefix 90 added to their number. For example, Amtrak 221 became 90-221. One unit, 406, retained its original road number and HEP to be used as a cab car for Amtrak's 40th anniversary exhibition train, which made stops across the country in 2011 and 2012. The rest of Amtrak's fleet was sold, scrapped, or put into storage. However, not all F40PH units have been retired. Most railroads have chosen to rebuild their F40PHs. Many of these new rebuilds include new components from EMD, new HEP generators, as well as modern electronics to extend their service lives. Some locomotives have made their way into freight service after several modifications. Another rebuild is the F40PH-4C, which includes several further upgrades over the standard F40, and will be upgraded to Tier 4 emissions standards set by the EPA. However, no examples have been rebuilt or entered service as of the writing of this episode. A handful of F40PHs have made it into preservation in museums and on tourist lines, the majority of which are either currently running or in the process of being returned to service. A few of these locomotives include Amtrak 231, 281, and 307, as well as Coaster 2103 and 2105. Amtrak 231 is owned by Dynamic Rail Preservation and is currently located at Nevada Southern Railroad Museum in Boulder City, Nevada. Amtrak 281 is at the California State Railroad Museum in Sacramento, California. And Amtrak 307 is at the North Carolina Transportation Museum in Spencer, North Carolina. As for the two coaster units, 2103 is at the Pacific Southwest Railway Museum in Campo, California, and Coaster 2105 is at the Southern California Railway Museum in Paris, California. A handful of modified ex-Amtrak F40PHs and Amtrak and New Jersey Transit F40PH-2s, one F40PH M-2F, number 450, and F40 modified freight use is currently reserved at the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. Unfortunately, some weren't as lucky. This is a some scrap, put in storage, or had parts to keep other locomotives running.